Alright, hey, HadesOmega here, and this is the after-action review for the Hollister Hills Off-Road Association Hare Scramble, alright, 2024, alright, HHORA puts on 2 of these races a year, these Hare Scramble races, one like kind of at the beginning of the year, and then one at the end of the year, alright, this is the one that's at the end of the year, okay, and in the last one, the Wild Wabbit HadesOmega race, the Sauron Lightbeer, all right, as usual, all right, and usually, here's an interesting thing to note about this race, is that HadesOmega is usually the only one racing electric bikes at this race, all right, but this time there was quite a number. There was a handful of other electric bikes at this race, so it's happening, guys. This is it, all right. HadesOmega was what do you call it? HadesOmega was an early adopter of the electric stuff, all right. And now it's like kind of mainstream, right? You're seeing more and more of these electric bikes at these races, all right? Which is great. At some point, we'll have like electric classes, all right? And I could race against other electric bikes. All right, so the Hairball took place on November 9th, 2024 at Hollister Hills at the Upper Ranch, all right? That's usually where the Hollister Hills race Hare Scrambles are, okay? Yeah, and so HadesOmega races in the C class. The C class is a 1-hour Hare Scramble, right? It says anywhere from 4 to 5 miles, okay, guys? And so, spoilers, guys, it was 5 miles a lap, okay? So basically, you race for 1 hour, okay? As opposed to, like, I think most normal Hare Scrambles are like 1.5 hours, or 1.5 hours. Okay, so there's that. So it's a good time to test out my new trail bike. Alright? So there it is, alright? So if you guys don't know what this is what I call the WR250E, alright? It's a 2008 Yamaha WR250R converted to electric, alright? That's why I call it an E, okay? They didn't make an E model. Okay, if you want to learn more about it, I have videos about it, okay? So, but this is the debut race for this bike, okay, guys? I probably had this bike less than a month, and I've been preparing it and preparing it and preparing it for this race, okay? Ultimately, I want to race with this bike in Virginia City Grand Prix. And after today's race, I don't know if that's going to happen, okay, guys? So like I said, normally I race my Lightbeer, all right? The reason I want to try racing this guy, all right, racing a bike like this, all right, is because it's a real motorcycle, okay, guys? It's not a Lightbeer, it's not this hybrid mountain bike motorcycle type thing, okay? And yeah, so that I bought this specifically to do this kind of races, all right? And because I'm just getting beat up on the Lightbeer too badly, all right? I was thinking maybe I can go faster if the bike didn't beat me up so much, or at least I wouldn't get beaten up so much, all right? And I have to say, it kind of works, all right. The big the dirt bike kind of type suspension, it works, all right. The WR250R has some serious motorcycle suspension, all right. But it's kind of not perfect, and I'll go over that, all right. Okay, so what's an AAR? It's an after-action review, and it's what was supposed to happen, what really happened, and things you could do to improve in the future, okay? And there's a lot of stuff to improve, right? But we did a ton of stuff to this bike to get it ready for this race, all right? So here's some of the stuff that we did, all right? Yeah, man, we've done a lot of stuff. So when I first got the bike, a lot of the bolts and stuff were loose and coming out, all right? The dude that had this bike before that built it, they must have not owned a torque wrench or something, man, because all of the bolts were loose, okay? So I took a lot of them out, and I put Loctite, and I make sure they're real tight, all right? And I'll go over whether that helped or not, okay? I'm not going to lie, there's probably still some bolts that need some tightening on this bike, right? It's ridiculous. Okay, so another thing that we did is I took it to Rob at Fabrications Unlimited in El Viso, California, and I had him reinforce the motor mount, all right? And it looks like it took it pretty good, is what I'm going to say, all right? What he did is he boxed in the motor mount. He put a plate on top of the where the motor mount is. So there's the left motor mount and the right motor mount, right, guys? And then he just put a plate over the top of it, and that made it much stronger, right? Also, another thing he did is he kind of reinforced the battery tray, all right? So the guy that built this, there's a bolt here holding it, and that's it, and it just rests on the motor, and it's just flopping up and down, slamming into the motor the whole time. Okay, guys. So what he did is he welded these posts onto that plate that he installed to help have something for the tray to push up on. Okay, it's got these feet on it, and you can adjust it. And then I installed these wider battery straps. The ones he had in here were like half this thickness. All right, and then there's a long one over here. Man, the battery's still warm. It's crazy. I just drove with it home. And then I put a strap going around the whole battery going to the motor mount, all right? To keep the battery from jumping up and down, all right? And it seems to have worked. It's on there. It's solid, all right? It's not as solid as I'd like, but there's just not enough room to work with in there, okay? The WR250 frame is kind of small, guys, okay? I wish it was a little bigger. All right, but that's what I got to work with. It stands to see whether we're going to keep that battery set up or not. All right, well, definitely we'll keep the motor. The QS138 is a pretty good motor. Okay, guys. It's a QS138 with an 84-volt HHORA battery, 32 amp hours. Right. So probably it's got about the same capacity as my Sauron battery. All right, my Sauron battery probably a little more actually. It's got higher voltage, but yeah, it's just like, man, it's kind of I'm not sure. All right, just the thing is the bike is heavier than the Light B, so it's probably not gonna have. It's not gonna be as efficient as the Light B. Okay, that's the thing. It's got about 100 pounds on a Light B, guys. All right, but with that you get some serious suspension. All right, front and rear. So what else did we do to the bike? I installed knobby tires on it. All right, so yeah, I installed some Dunlop Geomax tires, and they were pretty good. All right, they were a pain in the ass to install, and I hate to say it, I'm probably gonna have to take them off for next weekend's race. But yeah, I wanted to install some proper knobby tires on this bike, and these are some proper knobby tires. There was a Shinko 705 dual sport tires on this before, and I think, well, you know what? I think it might have done okay, all right? But yeah, I was spinning tires everywhere, guys, okay? Still. Okay, and then what else did we do? I installed some hand guards the other day and some grip donuts, all right? So I don't get, my thumbs don't get all blistered up, all right? And I had the suspension tuned by Evolution Motorcycles in Santa Clara, okay? They did the best they could with what the bike currently has, all right? And I'm gonna go over how all these modifications and all this work that we did turned out. Okay, I removed the stock computer because it doesn't do anything. It's just there, you know. I removed. Also, I tightened the steering head. All right, that's the headset. All right, it was really loose, and I could feel it like moving front and back, just like the Light B does. Okay, so hopefully that does okay. Also, I found out that the front axle was like installed. The nut was installed hand tight. All right, so I didn't lose it, so it must be good now. Okay, there's nothing to keep that nut from coming off. Also, all right, but the pinch bolts hold it in. All right. What else? And I think that's the most of it. All right, guys. Also, I took all the speed limiters off, and it still seems like it's kind of slow. I think this sprocket is really big. I gotta count how many teeth it has, man. But I know it's a 14-tooth sprocket in the front, but the rear is freaking. It's a monstrous sprocket, man. The stock sprocket is like half this size, guys. Okay, so this thing is geared for a lot of acceleration, all right, and not a lot of top speed, and that's what I noticed while racing today. Okay. Okay, so yeah, so that's the bike. All right, guys. Usually I go over the changes I made to the bike before to see if it helped in this race. Okay. All right, so the race starts at 2:30, guys. HadesOmega. decides to leave at 12 or 12. I start loading up at 12 and I leave at 12:30. I'm in San Jose and I get to get to Hollister. It takes about an hour to get there, okay? So I get there with 30 minutes to spare, all right? No, actually 15 minutes to spare, all right? Because by the time I'm done with the registration and stuff, I've got 15 minutes to get to the riders meeting, okay, guys? Because at 2:15 or 14:15, it's the riders meeting, all right? And then the race starts at 14:30, all right, or 2:30 p.m., right, for you non-24-hour folks, okay? And yeah, so I get all my gear on, I get registered, all right? We're bike number 228, guys, okay? We're bike number 228. They assign you a number. It's just a piece of paper that you put on the bike, and then they also give you a barcode that you put on the side of your helmet, all right? You can see it right there. Okay, so when you go to the finish line, they scan this barcode and it takes your time. Okay, that's how they score you. So it's important that you stop by there. Okay, and that thing is easy to scan. All right, and yeah, and so I was surprised. There was quite a few electric bikes there. All right, so here's the electric bikes that I saw. I think there was a lot. I saw an Ultra B. All right, and he was racing in our class, and I saw a Varg. All right, and he was racing in our class as well. I'm like, whoa, well, already, like the Varg and the Ultra B probably outclassed this bike. Okay, you know, I'm not gonna lie, I wanted an Ultra B, all right, but it was too expensive, so I bought this. Okay, guys. Okay, so that's a scoop. So there was that. I think I saw a Light B out there, and there was an Admit Jet Armor. Okay. If you guys don't know what that is, it's like a 4-speed electric dirt bike. It's a Chinese electric dirt bike, and I heard a lot of bad things about it. Okay, let's just say that. This is probably bigger than an Ultra B, all right, but it's probably smaller than the Varg. Okay, that's what I have ridden the Varg before, and I like it a whole lot. All right, but it's too expensive. That's why I don't have one. All right, guys. And you can't swap the batteries on it. But this race would be an ideal race to race the Varg, all right? Because I think the Varg has enough battery where you can finish the race, the 1-hour race, all right? Okay, so yeah, I only have one battery. Generally, when I race the Light B, I bring a second battery around, okay? And I am pretty sure my Chai battery is a really good battery. It has a really good capacity and power and performance. I think we probably could have finished this race with just the one battery, okay, on the Light B. All right, but that's the Light B, and that's not the WR250E, okay? So yeah, there we go. So we're already racing against two other electric bikes, guys, the Ultra B and the Varg, okay? Those are the ones that are in our class. I think there was a total of seven or eight of us. I'll check. We'll look at the results later, okay, guys? Yeah. All right, race starts at 2:30. Yeah, so I'm already like kind of the GPS. All right, I don't like the position where the GPS is. It's in the front. It's the center of the handlebar, but it's like sticking up a whole lot. And I was sure that like it was gonna slap me on the face sometimes. All right, and sure enough, it did. Okay, so I need to set that up so it's lower. Okay, guys. So we'll figure that out. All right. But it's handy having a GPS so you can keep track. Yeah, we need the data, all right, guys? I need to know how many miles we can go and how fast we can go, how long we're out there. Those are all very valuable data points, you know, to have during a race, all right, during and after the race, okay? So one lap was roughly they said 4 to 5 miles, all right? So, but after one lap, I noticed it's about 5 miles, all right? That's roughly how it is. Maybe a little more than 5 miles. So on the Light B, I can guarantee you we get 20 miles of off-road range. So the Light B could have probably done 4 miles. That's 4 laps. For sure the Light B could have done 4 laps because it's got a bigger battery capacity than this. Okay, so and I'm already not liking that the bike is really tall. Okay, so HadesOmega is used to racing mini bikes, all right? And this is like the first time I raced. I think, yeah, this is my first time racing a Hare Scramble with a full-size bike. Okay, yeah, this is a full-size, a 250, guys. And yeah, it was interesting, all right. It kind of felt like riding a red shift, all right. That's a slower red shift, all right. Okay, so boom, green flag goes up, we go, all right, and and like I think already like everybody. Well, we're at the back of the pack. All right, guys. We were C5, and I was the last one to sign up, so I have to be all the way in the back. All right, and I think I already passed the Ultra B. And I passed the Ultra B like pretty early in the race. I think that after the first quarter of the race, I'd already passed the Ultra B. All right, and the HadesOmega is getting used to the bike. There's not. The race starts on the motocross track, but we didn't really have any big jumps or anything. What I've come to realize is this bike is not very good for jumping, okay, guys? It can do it, but yeah, there was this one jump that I bottomed it out big time, man. I wonder if this touched anything, all right? Hopefully when I do lower, I think HadesOmega definitely wants to lower it, all right? There's a lot of these turns, all right? Oh, another thing, okay, about the controller tuning, all right? Like I said, I took the speed limiter. All right, there was a speed limiter on it, so I took that off, and then I tried to get the regen working, and I couldn't. Okay, so I couldn't figure out how to get the regen working. I set it to like 50% and 20%, and it still wouldn't regen. All right, guys, there must be something else I have to mess around with to get this. The controller is not very good. Okay, guys, it's a far driver controller. I've heard good things about them. I mean, it's the ideal controller for this motor, but it's just not. It's not as easy to use as the EBMX controller. I'll tell you that. Yeah, it's some Chinese stuff, and it's kind of caveman, all right, type of thing. So one thing I'm noticing on this bike is its power delivery. Okay, guys. Maybe about a quarter throttle, it feels like you just get like a ton of power like right away. All right, just lots of phase amps, and then the tires just spin right away if you get on it pretty good. All right, so it's kind of like a two-stroke. It just takes off. All right, but then when you get it up to speed, it just kind of falls flat on its face. It slows down. I remember there's a straight section on the course where you can go pretty fast. I think I hit close to 40 miles an hour with it. All right, it's not very fast at all. I think the Lightbeat gets. Maybe I'm just like, I don't know. The Lightbeat can go about that fast. Maybe the Lightbeat can go a little bit faster, is what I'm thinking. Okay, I rode it in mode 2 pretty much the whole time just to conserve the power. All right, I think mode 2 was set at like 75% power, and so I think mode 3 is the full power. It's at 100%. And that's about 15 kilowatts, all right? So a little less than 50, maybe like, what's a third? What's a quarter? Like about 12 kilowatts, all right? That should be plenty of power. And it was, okay? It just kind of, it kind of falls flat on its face. Like it's just you get a big burst of power, and then like that's it. That's that's the way the power comes on, guys. So I think it might be the controller or something, the way it's set up. I think I'm definitely going to get the EBMX controller. All right, so another thing, no regen, all right? So there's a lot of these turns where, like, it's a lot of, like, you're going down, and then there's a quick, like, a hairpin turn, all right? And HadesOmega sucks at using the foot brake, all right? And maybe it's because of the boots I'm wearing or something, but it's just difficult for me to use it. I'm not gonna lie, I did use it. I used it to perfection a handful of times, okay, guys. But I can use it. I just suck at it, all right, guys. I don't like it. All right, HadesOmega's gotten used to the left-hand rear brake a lot, The Lightbeat would have been it would have been a lot easier to ride in this race, all right. Other than it beating the shit out of me, okay. Okay. But the suspension is much better than the Lightbeat, all right? Just having the extra suspension travel helps a whole lot. This has got like more than 10 inches of suspension travel. It's tall though, all right? That's what I don't like about it. I like to be able to get my feet on the ground. Okay, I'm not going to lie. If HadesOmega was a better rider, then I wouldn't have to dab as much, all right? But in a lot of situations, I try to dab, and I can't dab because my foot doesn't touch the ground, all right? If the area, the part of the trail that you're trying to put your foot down on the ground is lower than the other side, all right? You're not going to put your foot down, okay? Unless you like really brap it, and you get the bike sideways, yeah, that could work, all right? But HadesOmega, Another thing I noticed about this bike is it has very good turning radius. All right, when you turn the handlebars, it can make tight turns pretty easily. So I do like that. But you should try to go faster. Instead of steering with the handlebars. And another thing is, yes, the power comes on really hard. All right, lots of power, and it breaks the rear loose like right away. All right, kind of like when I rode the Alta. That's how the Alta feels like, man. When you get on it, the tires just spin right away. It's kind of like a two-stroke, all right? So you can use that to steer with the rear, all right? Steering with the rear was very easy, all right? Yeah. And I didn't really have to get into the throttle that much to get the tires to spin. I would just, on, off, and it would just slide around the corner. I was like, wow, okay. So I kind of liked that, all right? My Lightbee isn't that. My Lightbee is like the opposite. It's very gentle acceleration, and then when you get on it really hard, then yeah, the tires spin a whole lot. Right? So it expresses its power in a much different way than my Lightbee does. Okay, the way I have it tuned, the way my Lightbee is tuned. Okay, but we couldn't use the regen a whole lot because when I didn't have regen, I was relying on the front brake a lot. All right, front brake. I like a lot. Front brakes, very good on this bike. It's lighter than a WR250R, all right, so it's got less to stop, is what I want to say, but it was great. The brakes were good. I got no complaints about it. They did what I asked it to do, slow the bike down, all right. Very light brakes. It's very good. The brakes are very good. Like it doesn't lock. It won't lock the front up very much. I was just like one finger braking most of the time. The front. Most people would just use the rear in the dirt. That would be the case if I was riding the Lightbee, all right? Because it has the left-hand rear brake. The left-hand rear brake is so much easier to use than the foot brake. I don't like using the foot brake, all right, guys. It's nice to have both, all right, but I prefer the left-hand brake, man. It's just so much easier for me to use, okay? And if I had the regen throttle of the Lightbee, man, it would make it so much easier. I would be able to get around those really tight corners much better, okay, guys? And so another thing is, so there's no regen, guys. So when we go down those long hills and I need to slow down, it just coasts, all right? And it goes really fast, all right? So I'm having to use the front brake to slow, bleed some speed off, all right? And very carefully without tucking the front, right? and yeah, it's just like you're wasting energy, all right? If I had just a little bit of regen, we can slow the bike down and I could recharge the battery at the same time, all right? So that's going to come into play later, okay, guys? Because regen, I shit you not, man. If we had regen, we probably would have finished this race a lot better, okay, guys? So yeah, the first lap, I'm just trying to feeling stuff out, all right? And I managed to pass the Ultra B, and I think that's the only bike that I passed that was in our class. I probably passed a handful of slower riders, and probably a handful of faster riders passed me, okay? There's no doubt in my mind I got lapped by quite a few riders, all right? I would hear a fast bike come up behind me, and it's just, yeah, just go, man. I'm just slowing you down, bro. and yeah, so, but for a good majority of the race, at some point, I was just out there riding by myself, all right? And another thing is, it's dry. It's not really hot. The weather was great, man. It wasn't too hot, wasn't too cold type of thing. Yeah, it was great, man. But the traction, probably not the best, all right? And the dust was really bad, all right? If you were following close to a lot of riders, you can't, man, I can't see, man, what's in there, that type of thing, all right? But this suspension gobbled up the terrain pretty good, all right, is what I want to say. Plus, it's got the 21-inch front and an 18-inch rear. I think this is my first time running an 18-21 setup, and I like it. It's nice. These tires, great, man. They hooked up great. Great traction, I'm pretty sure these tires saved my bacon a few times, all right, because I installed them. If I had installed the dual sport tires, it would have been no bueno, all right. Maybe, all right. We would probably be sliding like a whole lot, all right. It gives you better braking, better acceleration, all right. Dunlop Geomax, all right. My first time racing with them, and I like it. I like it a whole lot. I think it's a motocross tire is what it is. Yeah, I got them for $50 too, if you can believe it. I was running 15 psi front and rear, and I have a rim lock, Warp 9 rim lock. All right, and it's all dirty now. All right. Yeah. So for the most part, this bike just gobbles up that rough terrain. All right. The whoops still kind of slow you down, but yeah, if you just goose it a little bit, it just like you don't even have to go fast. It still gobbles it up. All right. So one thing I noticed, it's just like the Light Bee, man. When you're going on those jumps, the bike kicks your butt. All right. It does this. Like the back is like, I don't know. There's something wrong with the way the back is set up or something. All right. That's the way the guy said. He set the bike up. He set it up as good as he could. All right. And I feel that the front is too stiff and the back is too soft. All right? I think. All right. But it's doing this thing when I'm going over the jumps. I guess to get around that, you can pull up on the handlebars. All right, which makes you more tired. Or you can, I think you can jump up on the foot pegs, and that, you know, it might not buck you off, type of thing, right? Yeah. And another thing is the bike it turns slow. Okay, there's no way around it, guys. All right. The Light Bee is 140 pounds, and this is 235 pounds. It's like 100 pounds heavier. Of course, it's going to be slower. It's bigger. All right. Yeah, it's bigger. It's bigger and heavier, man. It's so after a while, but after about like a lap or two, I started to get into it. I started to realize, yeah, you know, the bike it handles slow, but you just have to make your inputs earlier. All right, you gotta like, the turn is turning that way, then yeah, just start turning already. Whereas in the Light Bee, you know, you just turn right away. It's so easy on the Light Bee, all right, but it doesn't beat you up like the Light Bee, all right. Another thing is there's a log section, or it's a section with a tree, and you ride underneath it. All right, it's a tree that's like horizontal, and then they put like a danger marker on it. All right, it's like the 3 arrows that go down, like because it's warning you like there's a danger when you're going down. All right, so I'm looking at that tree and I'm like, you know, on the Light Bee, I've raced there before, guys, and on the Light Bee it's no problem. Like the Light Bee is like it's low to the ground. This thing is hella tall, man, hella tall, and I'm like, dude, if you stand straight up, you're gonna hit your head on that tree. So I was like, I'm trying to crouch down, trying to not get hit by this tree, man. I was like, oh, this thing was scary, man. I definitely think I want to lower the bike. It's too tall, guys. I know I bottomed it out a few times, and yeah, so like that's where I feel the rear is too soft. The rear is too soft. I think we need to go up on the compression on the front or something, because and it's not super plush. All right, is what I want to say. But I have to say, one thing about the way the bike handled is it felt more comfortable sitting down. It's a bike that you want to sit down and ride on the trail with instead of standing all the time. Just sit down. All right, but the only problem is like if there's a jump or something, or a big bump or whatever, you gotta stand up. Okay, but like just for the small stuff, sitting down felt more comfortable. All right, and also I like that it has a real seat and a tank. I could really get up on the tank with my knees and just grip it with my knees, and that takes the burden off of my body. All right, my upper body. All right, you're using your lower body to hold it up, and I have those. I have these guys. Okay, and I got these Liat boots. All right, yeah, Liat is my sponsor also, by the way, guys. Thanks, Liat. All right, I got these Liat FlexLock 5.5 boots, and they help hold you up. All right, it's a pretty stiff boot, and it's got a flex lock feature on it. All right, and it helps hold you up. So like it's kind of acts like a steg peg sort of. All right, so I liked that a whole lot, definitely. That'll definitely come in handy in Virginia City Grand Prix. I like this tank setup where I can just grip the tank with my knees. Okay, excellent. It feels, it has motorcycle ergonomics. That's what I like about this bike. Okay, and yeah, that's what I noticed out on the trails. Very good. Okay. Yeah, so I finished the first lap. The last section is a motocross section. not too many jumps. There's one big jump coming in there. Like I said, this bike is just, I don't know, I just don't like jumping it. It doesn't feel comfortable jumping it, okay? I get some baby air and then that's it, alright? If I really launch it off of something, the back bottoms out, alright? So the front, but the front feels fine. The front feels like it's too stiff. I'm getting like beaten up by it a little bit. I wish the front was a little bit softer, alright? Front needs to be softer and the rear needs to be stiffer, okay? Because I'm bottoming out the rear, alright? Yeah, we'll see if there's maybe some kind of upgrade we can do with the shock. But yeah, you know, if you're not riding it too fast, it's not bad, all right? And I think that's the way, that's what I was going for when I wanted to buy this bike, all right? Or when I was trying to build a trail bike. It's like, I don't need it to be fast. I just need it to gobble up the terrain, all right? I need it so, like, it chomps up the terrain so I don't have to work as hard, okay? It does the work so I don't have to, right? And it does a pretty good job, all right? I would like it to be a little plusher is what I'm going to say, but it's okay. All right, I can work with it. I'm definitely not as beat up as I would be if I rode the Light B, okay, guys? But yeah, I would like a regen throttle so I can skid around the corners, and then so we can save some charge, all right? Okay, so yeah, I remember I think I lapped some riders. I lapped the really slow riders, guys. HadesOmega is I'm in the mid pack, guys. All right, I'm my pace is in the mid. All right, I'm not fast. I'm not slow. I'm right in the middle. All right, so I wound up lapping some people. All right, and then on the third lap, some people lapped me. When I went around, so yeah, when I ran around the second time, I was a little more comfortable. I'm learning how to lean the bike. You know. I'm getting pretty good at the berms. All right, getting on the berms. You just give it a little bit of gas or throttle, and then the back just slips out just a little bit. But yeah, you want to be really careful with the throttle on this bike. It's kind of crazy. It just goes on right away. All right, type of thing. But yeah, so after the second lap, they said, oh, one more. I'm like, oh shit, well, I guess we're not going to do fourth lap. But I'm looking at the charge and I'm like, you know what? On the second lap, we were at 84 volts. Yeah, we were at 84 volts. So I said, okay, they told me, okay, one more lap. So I'm like, well, I guess we didn't make the cutoff for the four laps. So you can ride as hard as you want because there's no way this thing would have finished 4 laps. I'm telling you, spoilers, guys, okay? We were roughly 84 volts when I crossed the finish line on the second lap, and then we're going to do the third lap, and they're saying like we only have one more left till checkered, right? And then because remember it's a 1 hour race, right? I think we were pretty close to getting the 1 hour, and yeah, it's just like not good, guys. Yeah, it was at half a charge, so you would think if it's half a charge after 2 laps, that means we should be able to do 2 more laps, all right? So I told myself, okay, yeah. Try to ride it as hard as you can, all right? So I tried to go as fast as I could, you know. I picked up the pace just a little bit, all right, guys? I still had it in mode 2. Like I said, I used mode 2 the whole time. And I think I got passed by some of the 4-lappers, man. And then so there's a couple. I never dropped the bike. Okay, that's the good thing. All right, guys, because I was like, don't drop this bike, man, because I don't want to pick it up. It's kind of heavy, and tall. All right, and a lot of it was I'm trying to dab and I can't put my foot down, and then I'm going too slow, you know, type of thing. You need to. HadesOmega needs a little more confidence riding on the trails. All right, but HadesOmega is just putting around using the handlebars to steer sometimes, all right, especially on those really tight corners. I couldn't really get the hang of the rear brake, man, the foot brake. I didn't like it, man. But there was a couple times I was able to get it to slide into the corner pretty nicely. So HadesOmega can do it. It's just I guess I need more practice, all right. But I think it's the boots, man. I think these boots are too stiff. So it's kind of hard. I can't get a good feel for how the brakes are, right? But the brakes are good on this bike, all right? I never did I think that I was going to overheat it, all right? But like I said, HadesOmega is like really light touch on the brakes, all right? I don't really get on the brakes, especially the front brakes. I don't get on the front brakes really hard, okay? Okay, so so here's what happens, guys. I think I passed a couple more bikes, and then I'm back at the motocross track. The motocross track is the last section, right? And I'm like, yeah, all right. And I launch it off the jump that goes onto the track, right? Because it just goes straight up, right? Straight up and down, and I'm like, all right. I look at the voltage, and I'm like, okay, it says 78 volts. The battery said I had 78 volts by the time, and I was like, oh, we got plenty of power. 78 is fine because, well, one, we were at half a charge after 2 laps, and so the third lap, and we had 6 volts. We had 6 volts still, all right, and guess what? The bike dies on me on the last section of the motocross track, man. I'm about halfway through the motocross track, and I notice, the bike just died. And then I see the voltage kind of flash in and out, and it's saying somewhere like 4 volts or 7 volts. So what I think, I'm not really sure, not 100% sure what happened, but I think the BMS said no more. All right, I don't like this. The BMS cut me off like somewhere around 78 volts. That's not good. Okay. I think you should be able to discharge this battery down to 72 volts. I'll look at the sticker to see like what the minimum voltage should be. All right, so, but yeah, I mean, obviously the BMS is there to protect the battery, and we drained it too much. All right, and it never came back on. It just suddenly died like that. All right, no warning. Okay, I'm not gonna lie, there was a little bit of warning. All right, after the second lap, I did notice the bike was getting slower and slower. It didn't have as much power as it did before, right? I would twist it, and the tires wouldn't spin as fast, all right, type of thing. But yeah, it was man, I was having a good time until the bike died. I'm not gonna lie, and I'm like, yeah, this is it. Finish hard, finish strong, man, finish strong. And then the bike just died on me. Like, oh shit, the bike died. I'm like, well, you know what? The finish line is right over there. Just push the bike to the finish line. All right, but like I said, I was like about halfway through the motocross track, so I'm pushing the bike, and I'm like, oh, this fucking sucks, man. This is not the Lightbee. This bike is way harder to push than the Lightbee, and plus it's really tall. I can't just hop on it real easy. I tried to hop on it and paddle, but you can't do that on this bike, man. You could do that on the Lightbee, so I had to just get off it and push. All right, and so the last section of the motocross track is a big downhill. It just goes down a lot. And it goes up a lot, all right? And I'm like, oh, okay, there, if you can make it to there, you can finish it if you go really fast on the downhill, all right? And man, how embarrassing, man. I'm there pushing my bike to the finish line, and I see all these other bikes, they're just passing me. All these other bikes passing me. I was like, what the hell, man? it's what an awful feeling that is. It's just like, man, I was fucking just kicking ass. And then all these guys are just blazing right past me because I'm having to push my bike. All right, and then so I get it around the corner, and then I'm trying to push it. I'm trying to paddle with it, and I can't. I still can't paddle, so I still have to get back off. And okay, now we're on the downhill, and the bike picks up speed. All right, it's a really steep downhill. All right, but I was like, yeah, you need to go as fast as possible because we need to go back up the hill. Okay, so I went down, back up. And then I think there's like a quick turn. There's a quick turn left, and then there's kind of like a hairpin turn, and then that's where the flag is, right? And the guy with the scanner. So after the left turn, the bike just stops, all right? And I was like, oh shit, well we gotta get off and push now. I'm like, come on, let's go. And I don't know, I had to push it maybe another like 5 feet or something, and boom, all right, we were done with the race, all right, guys. So HadesOmega finished 3 laps. And I got my finisher sticker, all right? That's the hairball finisher sticker. They do finisher stickers, not coins, guys. And that's fine with me. And I had a whole lot of fun. I had a whole lot of fun until the battery died, okay, guys? So I did get a chance to look at the results, and I came in 5th in our class. I think we're probably a little bit over the middle of the pack, all right? We beat the Ultra B, I think, and I'm pretty sure the guy on the Varg beat us. The guy on the Varg, I saw the guy on the Varg come in after me, and I was like, oh, well, did he do worse than me or better than me? Well, he did an extra lap, so he did 4 laps and I did 3. Okay, so it's possible to do 4 laps on this course. So you need to speed up, HadesOmega. You need to go faster, okay? All right, so there we go. We finished the race. All right, that finish was awful, man. I'm not gonna lie, that's not the first time that's happened to me, you know, and yeah, it's awful. I hate it, man. That's the thing I hate about fucking batteries, man. So okay, the final results for the race was about 15 miles. All right, so each lap was 5 miles. There's no way we would have been able to have done 4 miles because we barely did 3 miles. Okay, guys, this bike can do about 15 miles of range. All right, this is not good. All right, but I think if we got the regen working and I was just using the regen and not the brakes, then we would have done much. We would have finished the race. I'm pretty sure we would have finished the race because we'd be charging the battery when we were going down those hills. All right, so we need to get the regen working. Okay, guys, that will make the bike more efficient. All right, the regen. All right, yeah. So it would have been great if we can get the regen working. If we were able to get regen working, we probably would have finished that race because literally we were at the end and we ran out of power. Like, what the hell, you know? And if we had regen, we'd probably have more. We'd have more range. All right, we would have had just enough to finish that race. All right, so I'm kind of disappointed in that. Yeah, I wasn't riding super fast, but I wasn't riding super slow either. Okay, so things we gotta do. So here's my yeah. This is the debut race for the WR250E, guys. So this is how it did. All right, so we finished 3 laps, which is 5 miles a lap. It did 15 miles on those trails. All right. If we had raced a light bee, I am 100% sure we would have finished the race without any problems. Okay. Dude, we might have had enough to do 4 laps. All right, if we went fast enough, but. The suspension on the light bee is so punishing that I don't think I could be able to do 4 laps on that thing and go really fast, you know. But this bike was a whole lot of fun. I think about after the first lap, I started getting used to the size and the weight of the bike, you know, and I was getting it to slide better and leaning it more. Okay, guys. HadesOmega is not leaning the bike enough, type of thing. And yeah, I'm not gonna lie. There's a lot of times where like I slowed down and I used the handlebars to get around the corner. I did whatever I could to not drop the bike. All right. There was probably a handful of moments that I almost dropped the bike. Okay, guys. Like I lost the front and the back, front and back, and started sliding, and I almost dropped it. I went around the corner and I slowed down too much, and I tried to dab, and there was nowhere to dab because the bike is so freaking tall. So I almost dropped the bike there, and my shoulder is kind of messed up from the Moto Beach Classic race, and it I was like, ooh, ouch, man, that hurts a lot. Okay, so yeah. Anyway, so 15 miles of range is awful, guys. That's not good. It has an 84 volt, 32 amp hour battery, and I feel like, well, I don't know. You know, does that sound right? It should get better than that. I would think it would get better for 84 volts. Yeah, and especially we're running the big sprocket, so it's not having to work very hard, you know. And I feel like maybe the sprocket is too big because it gets up to speed and then it just kind of falls flat all of a sudden. I think it's hitting the top speed already, you know. The top speed is not very fast on this bike. It's like 40, maybe 50 miles an hour, maybe in mode 3. And I probably should have tried mode 3. I felt like it was too much power, so I just used mode 2 the whole time, you know. And mode 2 was plenty of power until you needed to really get some speed to, you know, and you were in a really fast section, and it just kind of falls flat on its face. So I didn't like that. Okay. I don't really like this far drive controller, all right, but I do like the mode select switch. I like it. I like having a physical switch, all right. So there's a up, a middle, and a bottom, all right. I like being able to flick between them. They're not. Never did I accidentally hit the button and it changed mode, all right. That's the problem I'm having with the EBMX controller. Brakes are very good on this bike, all right. They did really good. I wish I could use the rear brake better. If I can find some kind of left-hand rear brake kit for this bike, I would prefer that, all right. Kind of like the aux brake, all right. If I had something like an aux brake, that would be great. Because I just can't use that rear brake, man. I'm not comfortable. Or maybe it needs to be adjusted, okay? I don't think anything fell off of the bike, alright? I spent the majority of the work on the bike with freaking tightening and torquing and Loctiting bolts and stuff, okay? Because I didn't want stuff to fall apart. Like, this bike was literally falling apart when I rode it at Honolulu Hills, okay? This bolt is getting loose for the, right here, I notice. That bolt is getting loose for the side stand, so we're going to have to go tighten that. Also, the chain is super loose. The chain was not that loose before the race, all right? It's 38 to 48 millimeters. It shouldn't be that loose. I'm surprised the chain stretched that much, all right? That or the motor mounts moved or something, but yeah, I think we need to get a better chain than this, all right? I'm surprised how much the chain stretched in that run race, right? Throughout the race, I could hear it. It's like clank, 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 clank. It's making all these clanking sounds. You know, it's an electric bike. You can hear the drivetrain really easy, right? And it just clank, 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 clank. I was like, I'm surprised the chain didn't come off or anything, you know? But it's got a chain guide and everything, so the chain never came off, so that's good. Because I was afraid it was going to, because this thing is just like flopping all over the place, man. Okay, I don't know how much slack that is. Maybe that might be enough. I'm not sure. Should I just check it real quick? That's a lot. That's too much. I think that's way more than there was before. Okay, guys. See how much slack that is? That's a lot, man. So I think the chain stretched during the race. So I think this chain is not good for this motor type of thing. It's a 520 chain, I think. Yeah, it's a 520 chain. So one of the improves for this bike will be to get a stronger chain, alright? This chain is shit. I don't know. It's some no-name brand chain. It's a roller chain. It doesn't have any O-rings. Alright, I don't know. Maybe we can try an O-ring chain, but I'll probably just get the MX race chain from Primary Drive. That's what I run on the Lightbeat, and I've never had a problem with it, man. They're bomb-proof chains, alright? The chain comes off, man, and it breaks stuff, but I've never broken the chain. Okay? I broke a DID chain one time, alright, guys? This is a name brand chain. So yeah, we'll have to get a better chain for sure, okay? How did these tires do? Rim lock, it didn't seem like the valve stem moved at all, so we did a good job installing the tires, alright? And this rim lock here did its job, alright? It kept the tire on there. We were running 15 PSI, and I felt it was great, man. It would absorb the bumps really nicely, alright? Maybe we could run even lower, I'm not sure, man, but yeah, it was excellent, man. I like these tires, man. They did great out there, right? Even if it was pretty slippery, and it was pretty dry and slippery, and it did pretty good. So I think it was a good idea to get these tires, all right? Rather than trying to use the dual sport tires, man. I think the battery is fine. The battery didn't flop up and down a whole lot. Let me tug up on it real quick. Yeah, still solid. Good stuff. I like the tank, you know. I like being able to put my knees on the tank. It's got better ergonomics than the Lightbeat, for sure, man. It feels like a proper dirt bike, okay, guys? And it looks sweet, all right? The brakes were good, like I mentioned. I feel like the front suspension is too stiff and the rear is too soft, so we gotta try to figure something out there, okay? Maybe we can lower the compression on the front and then increase the compression in the rear. Try that, all right? The thing is, I don't have a place to ride this bike. Also, it doesn't have a title, guys. It doesn't have a title, and I don't have a OHV sticker for it, so I can't just take it to some park and ride it. Okay, that's one of the problems. I can't just take it out and go test ride it. Okay. Yeah, I don't think we lost anything off of the bike. I hope. Like I said, we need a new chain. This chain is garbage. I did tighten the steering head bearings. I don't think I had a problem with the front. At least I don't think so. Sometimes the front kind of feels kind of weird. I don't know how to describe it. Okay. And we had these hand guards and the grip donuts. I saw these Rocky Mountain ATV MC grip donuts. All right, and these Tusk D-Flex hand guards. They never kissed the ground, guys. But I'm pretty sure some branches and stuff hit it and stuff. Pretty good. Yeah, I'm not really sure what to say about the ergonomics. The ergonomics is okay, alright? Oh, this looks like it's coming out right here. So we need to fix that. Is the fender still on there? Yep. Is the headlight still on there? Yep. All right, so all the stuff that I tighten is pretty good. All right, it's still on the bike. That's the good thing. All right, guys. So that was it. So that's the debut race for the WR250E, guys. All right, and we finished it barely. All right. What could we do to be more competitive? Yeah, we gotta. I'm definitely gonna get the EBMX controller. I know HadesOmega is kind of cringing a little bit because the EBMX controller is like $1,200, man. Black Friday's coming up, so I'm gonna see if I can snag one on sale. We'll get this. Yeah, we'll get the same one that we have on the Light B, and then we have to buy the wiring kit for it, right? And also it has like 12-volt outputs and stuff, so we can run the lights and all that stuff with it. And we'll have a regen throttle, all right? So HadesOmega can't wait to get that regen throttle, all right? I think the addition of regen to this regen throttle to this bike will be excellent, right? Now definitely increase our range. The battery was disappointing, guys. All right. So there's going to be another Hollister Hills race. It's going to be the Wild Wabbit in 2025. Man, that's probably going to be the next race that we do this with. And we're going to during the wintertime, HadesOmega is going to redo this bike, okay? And the Light B, man. This is going to be my trail bike, all right? And the Light B is going to be a dedicated mini supermoto bike now, okay? So I still have the dirt tires for the Light B. I could still ride it off-road, but, you know, it's going to be supermoto now, okay? And this purpose of this bike is just to chomp up the trails, all right? So hopefully we can get the suspension sorted out and find a better battery. I don't think this battery is very good, man. I don't like the 84-volt battery. I think we're going to ditch the battery. I hate to say it, man. I do like it. It's really low, you know? The center of gravity, it keeps the center of gravity low. The battery's not too high up. I'd like to see if I can get the Sauron battery to fit in there, okay, guys? I think that would be ideal. However, swapping this battery would be really easy, but the range is just not good, man. It'd probably be better to get a 72-volt battery that has a higher capacity, like a 40 amp hour. So I might see if I can hit up a Morgue and see if they can do that, and then I will just sell this 84-volt battery. Yeah, that's what I want to say. But ideally, I would like to use the Sauron batteries because I have like a lot of Sauron batteries. Okay, so and they're pretty good. All right, but I don't know how we would do that. We'll have to figure that out, man. It's a lot of work in progress. I will see if I can fix the position of the RAM mount for the GPS. Like I said, it was like in my face and it hit me a couple times. Right, I'm gonna see if I could lower it down further. So it's like it's in where the dash used to be, right? Or maybe I can mount it to where the dash is. Okay, so we'll try that. Okay, yeah, I'm pretty happy with the handguards, man. I threw that stuff on there last minute. The grip donuts were good. All right, I didn't get any blisters on my thumbs, so pretty good. How am I feeling? Tired. I feel tired, but I feel like I'm not as beat up as I would be if I was racing the Light B. Okay, so I definitely it made a difference riding a bigger bike. Okay, and then yeah, I want to lower the bike. Okay, that's what we'll do. So I'll put the Yama link on it, and then we'll reset the rebound. Hopefully we won't have any problem with this hitting this. All right, but there's plenty of space here. Look at that. I need to lower it a little bit, man. It's too freaking tall, man. It's nice having it tall, but I like to be able to put my feet on the ground, guys. So okay, yeah, I'm pretty impressed with it. So that's after action review for the Hollister Hills Hairball. All right, the Hollister Hills Off-Road Association Hairball 2024. And in the next clip, we will go over the results. Okay. But I tell you now, I got 5th place, okay? But we'll go over, we'll play the fantasy motorcycle racing game, all right? We'll see how we do in each of the other classes, how we did in our class, how we did overall, and all that stuff, okay? So, see you guys in the next clip. All right, by the way, the bike is dead right now, all right? Once I turn the power switch on, I get nothing, okay? So, hopefully we didn't mess the battery up. Okay, but I'm gonna I'm gonna put the charger on the battery, and hopefully it'll come back to life. All right. All right. What I think is there's the BMS disconnected. So. Okay, so I neglected the the side stand. All right, this is loose. This goes to the side stand. Okay, and this is loose. See, when I jiggle this, the whole thing moves. Okay, so I almost lost my side stand. So make sure that we tighten that. All right, so take the bolt out, Loctite it, and put it back in. All right. Okay, guys, I've got it on the charger right now, and if you can see, it's back to life, and we've got like 79 volts. All right. The voltage cutoff is at like 78 volts. Okay. I don't know why it's so low. I think it should be lower than that. It should be 72. Should be okay. That's what I'm thinking. All right, but I'll look it up. But 79 volts. It should be 72. 84 is half, and 96 is fully charged. Okay, so yeah, I don't know why. So maybe we have to. That's a good question. It looks like the BMS cut off. All right, so maybe the BMS. You need to program the BMS so like it cuts off sooner, or later. All right, because I'm pretty sure we should have had enough charge to do thing. All right, but it died at like 78. The battery just died. So I haven't drained it that low before, and I'm not really sure what the low voltage cutoff is. But I'll ask the guy that sold me the bike, because it cut off around 78 or 79. Man, I thought I had like plenty of charge left, and then it just died. I'm like, what the hell? So yeah, I don't know what the scoop is on that, guys. But anyway, it's alive again. All right, we'll keep it on the charger for a little bit, try to get it up to 50. But yeah, it just came back to life once I plugged it in. That's what I thought. All right. All right. Hey, HadesOmega here. We're here in the office, and these are the results for the Hollister Hills Hairball 2024. All right. So this is the C-class race, guys, and so this is the C5. All right. HadesOmega race in C5. That's ages. So they do it by age group, guys. 40 to 49. It's kind of like a vet class type thing. Okay, guys. And then we'll kind of go over how we did in each, if we compared ourselves to other classes, how we did, and how we did overall. Okay, guys, we'll figure it out. All right, so HadesOmega came in 5th here. Okay, so my overall finishing position was 62. I think there was like 89 riders or something. All right, guys, that was my rider number 228. There's my name. They spelt it right. All right, I'm 5th out of 8th. All right. Now, I guess this Aaron Wong guy, he was the guy on the Ultra B that we passed, okay? And he was 5 minutes behind us, all right? He was a good amount of time behind us. And then this guy Eric Still and Chris Beck, it looks like they didn't even show up for the race because they didn't do any laps. Either they didn't do any laps or they had some serious trouble at the beginning of the race. Okay, so, one of them was an unknown and one of them was a Honda. Okay, maybe that was that Talario we saw out there. I'm not sure. But anyway, yeah, Aaron was on the Ultra B. Okay, I know that because we passed him. And I think that's the only guy we passed, sadly enough. Guys, we were pretty much dead last almost, all right? But if you look at the standings, we're mid-pack, okay? HadesOmega always finishes in the middle, guys, okay? So pretty much everybody ahead of us, they did 4 laps. They were fast enough to do 4 laps. So the guys that we raced against were fast, guys. What can I say? All right? I was on a Yamaha. The guy in front of us was on a Honda. He got a 1. So my time was a 1 hour and 1 minute and 7 seconds. That's pretty. My GPS was pretty damn accurate. I think it said 101 when I crossed the finish line, guys. All right. Now, if I hadn't stalled, all right, or the power, if the bike hadn't died on the last section, I'm sure we probably would have got like 5 minutes. We would have got a 5 minutes faster time, guys, okay? It'll be like 1:55 or something, okay, guys? And we let a bunch of other people pass us while we were pushing the bike, man. It was so embarrassing, guys. I hate it. I'm not going to lie. That's not the first time that's happened, guys. Okay? But it's just the walk of shame is what I call it, all right? Yeah, okay? But anyways, we were close to the finish, so HadesOmega charged on, all right? That's how you do it, all right? So the guy ahead of us, Matthew Bartlett, was 4th place. Sorry, buddy, you just just booted off the podium by Dirk here, all right? Dirk Swanepoel. Yeah, he was about 11 minutes ahead of us. How much was each lap? Like, could we have done four laps? Nah, we were like at... Yeah, we came in at like 1 hour. There's no way we would have done 4 laps. So, and we just need to go faster, HadesOmega. So hopefully we can get faster so we can catch up to these guys, all right? But these guys lapped us, all right? Well, they didn't lap us, but they did a 4th lap, okay, guys? If they don't think you're going to be able to finish a 4th lap, or you don't come in before an hour, then you know what? We did come in almost before an hour. If we hadn't had that problem, yeah, we might have finished just under an hour, and I don't know if they would have let us out. There's a cutoff time, guys. I'm not really sure what that time is, all right? But definitely the race ends at 1 hour, guys, okay? But anyway, so yeah, all of these guys, they beat us because they did 4 laps and we did 3, all right? Whoever does more laps and whoever has the better time wins, okay, guys? They're better position than you. So this guy got 4th place. Because he did 4 laps, 1 hour and 12 minutes, and they were like 1 minute behind each other. All right, this guy, 3rd place was 1 minute ahead of him. 2nd place was 10 minutes, and dude, these guys were really close. These guys were racing the 1st and 2nd place. They were really close. All right, so I know this guy, 151, Ricky Coleman. He was the guy on the Varg, okay, guys? I never saw the Varg out there. The only time I saw the Varg was after the race, and that's when he finished the 4th lap, okay, guys? So we got destroyed by the Varg, all right? But we beat an Ultra B. But there was, from what I remember, I talked to a guy out there with the Ultra B, and he said he had 4 laps, and he still had like 20% charge left. So, damn, it's pretty impressive, is what I'm going to say. Okay, yeah, even after 4 laps, so we totally got our asses whooped, guys. Okay, okay, but we beat like 20 other riders, guys. So let's see how we did against the other riders. All right, so remember, 3 laps, 1 hour, 1 minute. All right, pretty much. So let's go check out C1. All right, C1 is 12 to 15-year-olds, guys. All right. Oh my god, dude. We got destroyed, dude. We would have been like at the back of the pack. All right. Yeah, we would have been right here. This Issa person was pretty much there when we crossed the finish line. All right. Yeah, this Issa youth is what I'm gonna call that. Yeah, we were right. We would have finished like around here, 9th place. All right. Everybody, all these other kids, 4 laps, man. They're freaking booking. Okay. So yeah, we would have got destroyed in the C1 class. In the C2 class, we would have been like 13th place, man. Yeah, 13th place. No, not a 13th place. See, these guys all did 3 laps, but they got a faster time than us. I think we came in like right around when these guys came in too. All right. So, but anyway, yeah, if we hadn't had problems with the bike, we would have probably beat these guys. Yeah, so 1 hour and 3 minutes. So we would have beat Zachary here, all right? We would have been 15th place if we were in C2. All right? C3, 4444441. We would have been last place, guys. Something happened to poor Adrian here, man. This is the 23 to 29-year-old class. And yeah, something happened to him, and he only got 1 lap in and 17 minutes. So something must have happened to him. Sorry, better luck next time, bro. But everyone destroyed us. So they got 4. If I remember correctly, the C4 was the biggest class. Yep, there's C4. All right, so there's C4, and we would have finished 16th. We would have been 16th place, guys. All right, where this Thomas Maxon is. All right, yeah, man. I used to be in C3 and C4. Well, somehow they moved the classes around. I'm not sure. Anyway, yeah, we would have been like here 16th. Yeah, we would have been 16th place because we got a 101. Yeah, so we would have beat these guys here, and then all these guys whooped us. All right, all these guys. All right. There's C5, there's us. I'm not going to go over that again. And then we got a 101. Oh, look at this. The C6 class, the 50 and up. 50 to 59, guys. We would have beat some old guys.
No, we wouldn't have beat some old guys. These old guys whooped us, man. So look at this. So these guys, yeah, immediately they beat us. They got 4 laps, all right? But we got a 101. We would have beaten this Richard Gorton guy, all right, on the number 6, or we would have been in 6th place, all right? We would have been at the back of the pack, all right? And then, oh look, there's an Alta. Nobody had an Alta. I guess somebody was gonna show. I didn't even know they had a thing for an Alta, man. Because all the other ones are unknown, so I'm surprised an Alta didn't show up. That would have been fun to race against an Alta. Okay, so we would have. See, so we're competitive with the 60 and up guys, all right? with the really old folks, right, guys, all right? I feel bad now, all right. So yeah, we were competitive with these guys because they only did 3 laps, but they started at the back, guys. That's probably why. We would have beat. I think we beat this guy, Todd Thomas. We beat this guy, all right? So he got 63, right? And we're 62. Yeah, we just barely beat this guy. Okay, this guy on the Yamaha, Todd Thomas. All right, so we would have been mid-pack still, all right? Mid-pack. We still would have been 5th place in C7, all right, guys? So I think in C7 there was a guy that had the Admit armor, Admit jet armor, whatever the frick it's called, the 4-speed electric motorcycle. Yeah, he was racing in this. Maybe he was the guy with the Alta. I don't know. But they got 0 laps. But this is Yamaha, gas. I don't know. All of these are different. These are not electric bikes, guys. Unless it's a KTM. I guess KTM has electric bikes too. Yeah, I don't know where he is. Maybe this is him. I'm not sure. But he finished last. He didn't get a time, and then apparently they had an Alta. Maybe they didn't even race. Okay, guys. Okay, so we would have been mid-pack in C7. All right. Oh my God. Okay, here's the women. All right. Did you let any women beat you, HadesOmega? Yes, 2, 3 women beat me, guys. This is awful. I'm just getting worse and worse every race, man. All right, none of them did 4 laps. But we were 101, so we got beat by Anna here. We would have been 4th place. All right, we beat this. We beat everybody that did 2 laps. All right, 2 laps and 1 lap here. Okay, yeah, that's nothing to brag about. I'm not gonna lie. There's some fast ladies out there, so I'm not. You know, I've been beaten by. Well, apparently we got beat by these ladies right here. So I shit you not, guys, if we had not had problems with the bike at the end of the race, we probably would have beaten all the women. That's my guess. Yeah, we would have beaten all the women. That's okay, guys. Okay, so here we're 89. All right, we're 62 out of 89. So if you remember, we got 62 overall. Here's our percentile. 62 divided by 89. Gives us 69 percentile. All right, so we're not totally in the mid-pack, guys, all right? I would call, if we round up, that's like a C-, guys. We get C- grade overall for all the C riders, all right? It says, HadesOmega, should you be promoted to a B class? No, you shouldn't. Plus, we couldn't even finish 4 laps, man. There's nobody we could have competed with these guys because they were able to do 4 laps, and we just could not. We, physically cannot do it because we don't have enough charge, okay, guys? All right, HadesOmega here, and so there's also a lap detail sheet. All right, so it gives you information about your laps and all that stuff. So here's me. Zoom in right here. All right, I'm the last one, guys. So I'm the last one that registered, so I have the highest number, guys. Okay, I'm the 228th rider that signed up. All right, guys, that's a pretty good turnout, if you ask me. Anyway, so. Here we are. All right, so here we are. We're rider number 228. All right, there's my name. I guess they don't do the AMA numbers. I don't really care. We're in C5, 40, 49. We did 3 laps. Our position was 62 out of the whole pack and 5th in our class, okay? And then so here's our lap times. We came in at 19 minutes, 38 minutes, and 1 hour and 1 minute, okay? So these are our lap times. So the first lap we got 19 minutes and 11 seconds. and 19 minutes and 20 seconds for the second lap. All right, and then the third lap we got 22 minutes and 36 seconds. All right, and it says our average was like 20 minutes. So because we had that problem, we had that problem at the end of the third lap. It cost us. I guarantee you, it cost us 3 minutes. So it took me 3 minutes. All right, because look at how consistent my lap times are. All right, we're 19 minutes for first and second lap. So that's got to tell you, I would probably 19, 20 minutes. I might have gone a little bit slower on the third lap because I was running low on charge, but I don't think so, man. I felt like I was actually going faster on the actually, you know what, that's funny. I felt I was going faster on the second lap than the first lap, but that doesn't seem to be the case. All right. Could be I got stuck behind slow riders, that kind of stuff. But anyways, we were 3 minutes off our first and second lap, man. So it probably took me 3 minutes to push the bike to the finish line. That's my guess. All right, so that tells me, I know I lost probably more than 5 positions because of that, guys. Okay, all right, that's our average. These are our speeds. All right, so I don't know how they calculate the speed, guys, but we were going 18, 18, and 5. Let's call that 16 if you round up. All right, our average is 17 miles an hour. Okay, so just more data plots, more stuff to nerd out on, but it seems like I was doing 19-minute laps. You know what? I know how fast I know the Varg was 151. Let's see. Let's go to 151. All right, there you go. There's the Varg rider, and they're supposed to do 4 laps. What happened to the 4th lap? It's on the next page. Okay, so the Varg rider was doing 17. If you round up, it's 18 minutes. So the VAR guy was like a minute faster than us, guys. He was fast, all right. Those minutes, they make a big difference, guys. So he was running an average of, let's say, 1740, all right. Oh yeah, the average is right here, 1743. See, so that was pretty close. He was moving at 20 miles an hour on that Varg. So there you go. That's what I got to do to beat the Varg, man. But hey, it ultimately comes down to rider's skill, all right? And I was just not as skilled as this guy, all right? But you got to take a combination of the rider's skill and the machine, all right? And definitely the rider's skill and the machine were inferior to the Varg, all right? But the Varg is a $13,000 machine, guys. So what can I say, man? All right, so yeah. So there's my that's my lap details. All right, and so with that's the end of the AAR, guys. So you saw it. We're pretty much mid-pack, and we're mid-pack except for we're in the youngins pack, man. all the youth classes and the younger guys classes were like at the end, guys. And I'm not gonna lie, like in our class, we were pretty much at the end, anyways. There was 2 guys at the bottom that they just they didn't show up to the race, or they had some serious problems at the beginning of the race. All right, the only guy we really beat in our class was the guy on the Ultra B. Okay, and man, I want an Ultra B so bad, guys. If HadesOmega will save up his pennies to get one, but for now, we're just gonna have to keep on improving the WR250E. I believe we can make that bike better. It's gonna cost some more monies, unfortunately. All right, but hopefully we can get it to finish Virginia City Grand Prix. That's the ultimate goal, guys. All right. There is another Hollister Hills race, I think, before. It might be before Virginia City Grand Prix, so we'll get another chance to test it out before Virginia City. Okay, but I need to get 3 batteries before then, so we need to figure something out, the battery situation. Hopefully we can get our Sauron batteries to fit in there, but doesn't look good. Okay, but first we gotta improve. HadesOmega is gonna improve the controller. All right, then we gotta fix that rear suspension, man. That rear suspension is awful. I'm thinking of buying an aftermarket shock, all right? Rather than working with the stock one, I think it's just better to buy a new one, all right? Buy one that's, it's better. Okay, the forks, I'm not too worried about the forks. The forks seem okay to me. They could be better, but we'll figure something out, okay? And yeah, so there's no way we would have podium in that event if we couldn't do 4 laps. All right, and we didn't do 4 laps. What it looks like is the BMS cut us off. All right, and so we got to figure out. We got to figure out what the low voltage cutoff for that battery is. It doesn't look good, man. The battery capacity on that thing was not good, man. It's 15 miles is awful. That's like less than my Lightbee, man. My Lightbee can do 30 miles, all right? And the stock battery, I remember it could do 20 miles at least. So the Sauron, my Sauron, how it is with the Qi battery, we could have done 4 laps. No problem, I think. Yeah. Okay. So that's a scoop, guys. It's not looking good. It looks like we're gonna need more. We're gonna figure out the batteries. All right. The motor seems okay. I'm pretty happy with the way the motor is and everything. And yeah. So, okay. Anyway, so that's the end of the AAR. Thanks for watching, guys. And those are the results. All right. So I hope this was entertaining for you guys. It sure was for me, and it's definitely valuable data points to build upon, all right, for the future races, right? Hopefully we'll get better, all right? It's a new bike to me, and I'm learning like a lot about it, okay? And that's I mean that's how you do it, right? Continual evolution, right? All right, here we go.